Hello, everyone. I'm Andrew Ruiz, and I will be your moderator this evening. This is a production of the School District of Palm Beach County, and we're here to talk about some of the academic support programs that are offered by the School District of Palm Beach County this summer. As you can see, I am joined by our Deputy Superintendent, Keith Oswald, and also by our Chief Academic Officer, Dr. Glenda Sheffield. Good to have both of you guys here. If you don't mind, Mr. Oswald, let's kick things off and kind of give everyone a background about the services we'll be providing this summer.
Thank you, Andrew, and really appreciate being here tonight to talk about a very important topic to the school district. It really goes to our core business about educating our kids, and it's called our Student Academic Support Plan. So as we all know, this has been a very, very challenging year in so many different ways. But when it comes to the academic outcomes of our students, that's our primary business. And we've seen a lot of unfinished learning that's been occurring in our students. So if we can go ahead to the next slide here, you're going to see some of what we do call unfinished learning. So typically in a school year, we have gaps in student learning that occur that we try to make up for that learning in different ways through targeted tutorials, extended learning time. And over the course of this last year, it's been exasperating in this distance learning environment. Our teachers have done an outstanding job really trying to reach our students that are learning from home, but we know that's not an ideal state for our students. And when they're not in brick and mortar and dealing with all these other challenges, we've seen a lot of unfinished learning. So what do I mean by unfinished learning? There's been an increase of the number of students who have not passed their core courses, so D's and F's, that greatly affect, in particular, our secondary students in high school and middle school, their GPA, their ability to go on to the next grade level. That's of great concern. And we're expanding opportunities this summer for our students to make up that type of work. In elementary school, again, seeing a lot of students who are not mastering all the standards of a grade level. And so it's real important that we prioritize and expand learning opportunities for our students to make up for this unfinished learning. We started this work back in March, really through targeted tutorials. The school district leveraged resources, an additional $10 million to do targeted tutorials from now until summer and greatly expand, like we've never done, additional summer learning opportunities for our students. And in addition to addressing the core academic programming, we wanted to give a robust experience for our students in many of the areas. So STEM activities, arts activities, physical education will be part of this summer learning opportunity. Through this 4-week program that we want to do this summer, we know that our students will be better prepared for the next school level. So if you're one of the students who are going to be targeted for this this summer, please, parents, pay attention to this next section of these exciting summer learning opportunities that Dr. Sheffield is going to talk to you about in more detail.
Thank you, Mr. Oswald, and good afternoon to our parents, our students, our community leaders. I'm just excited to have an opportunity to come forth and just continue to talk about, as Mr. Oswald indicated, the work that we're doing this summer as we wanting to, of course, mitigate the instructional losses that many of our students have encountered during these past 16 months. As what I'm going to do, I'm just going to give you a brief highlight in regards to what this extended summer looks like, because surely our summer looks very differently here within the School District of Palm Beach County. The first program that I'm going to talk to you about is our VPK. We're going to have a VPK Academy. It's going to be for our 4-year students. And these will be for the students that did not use their VPK voucher, I should say, during the past academic school year. And again, this particular program is going to be held at Village Academy. Then we're going to go in talking around our elementary. When I go into elementary, we have an awesome program for our rising first, second, and third graders. This particular program is going to be focusing on literacy and math. You'll hear more about the targeted areas as we go through some slides a little later on. And we're also going to have what was known as our SRA. Our SRA, our Expanded Summer Reading Academy, this is a program that we generally have had the past summers for our third grade students that were not successful on the FSA assessment. We're going to continue with our SRA, our Extended Summer Reading Academy, regardless of the fact that we do not, that our students, again, will be taking the FSA, this coming May. The scores will be coming back. We may not have the scores back in time, but we are committed, and we're going to be targeting those students based on some data matrix that we have within our schools. So then we will go on to middle school. Within middle school, we're going to be talking about our Preparing for Success program that we're going to be having for our rising sixth grade students. Very excited. This is our first time hosting a summer academy for our current fifth graders that will be coming on to sixth grade in the fall. Then we will go on to talking about what is known as MSCR. MSCR is our middle school course recovery. And we're also going to be having for our middle school students, Jumpstart, our Jumpstart program to high school. Our Jumpstart program to high school is a program that we have for our seventh grade students. I will talk more about in regards to what our students would need to do, are the criteria that must be met for them to be eligible for this particular program. Then we will go on to high school. Our high schools, we know that we have our awesome graduating class of 2021. But what we're going to be doing on our high school campuses is that for this particular program, we're calling it graduation support for our students, our current seniors that may be shy of their credits, high school credits, for graduating with their class of 2021. We will continue working with those students over the summer, trying to get our students graduated from high school so that they can continue on for their academic success, whether it's post-secondary, directly into the workforce, armed forces, or what have you. We want to make certain that we are there, encouraging our students and providing the support to where they receive the necessary, earn the necessary credit to successfully graduate high school. And then once we've worked with our seniors, our class of 2022, which is our juniors, there will be select juniors that will have an opportunity to participate in this particular program as well. And lastly, on this particular slide, we also have and will continue, as in years past, to offer our programs for our summer ESY, our ESOL, and our migrant education programs. These particular programs for our ESE students, our ELL students, and they're going to be held at various cluster sites. So this is just a quick overview, of the programs that we're going to be having for this summer. And our summer programs are going to be running June 28th through July 22nd. Now, what I did, I just gave you a real quick rundown in regards to the programs in itself. So now I'm going to really slow down and talk to you in regards to what are the target students and what are the goals of the program, our purpose and our why. What is it that we're wanting to accomplish with our students? So for that first program that we talked about, our Rising program for our K-1-2 students, which are students that are currently in kindergarten, first and second grade. And what we're going to be utilizing, we're going to be looking at the students, at their iReady data. And we're going to be looking, working alongside with our teachers to see if there are some other data points and identifying the students for this particular program. And what we're wanting to accomplish, the goals of this program, of course, is to provide an engaging instructional program through project-based learning, through STEM, STEAM, PE, art, music, and most importantly, that social and emotional learning aspect. And then it's very important that all of these programs that I'm talking to you about, that's going to be available for our targeted students, the students that have been identified, it is important for me to make note that these programs are face-to-face. And then lastly, our students with disabilities and our ELL students, these students will also have an opportunity to participate via the inclusion model, where they are identified as appropriate. So again, the programs in which we're offering, we're being very inclusive. And we know that our students with disabilities and our ELL students, it will be based on their individualized educational plan to help determine what's most appropriate for those students. The second program that I'm going to talk to you about is going to be that Summer Reading Academy, our SRA. It's that program for our current third grade students. These are these students are the students that are currently sitting in third grade. And the targeted students with a level 1 score on their winter diagnostics, as I indicated, our students are indeed taking FSA. I'm hoping that I know that they have done well. We're going to continue to work with them, those that are continuing to do their state testing, but we will have our winter diagnostic scores that we did in the winter because we would not have our FSA scores back in time. So in identifying these students and assisting them and to help, again, mitigate some of the instructional losses and trying to ensure that when they go on to fourth grade, that they will be successful. This is what we're going to do with the identified students. These identified students will attend face-to-face. They're going to be at cluster elementary sites throughout the district. And as I indicated earlier, all of our programs are inclusive to where our students with disabilities, ELL students for this particular program, it will be determined based on their individual educational plan. And of course, this particular program will focus very heavily on literacy. And our next program is going to be around our middle school transition. Our middle school transition, again, brand new. We have never done this particular program before. This program is targeting our current fifth grade students. So our students that are in their elementary school in fifth grade, that will be identified based on, again, their winter diagnostics, the winter diagnostics that they took this winter, because we would not have our state test scores back. So we are being proactive in working with these students. So any student that are predicted or were predicted a level 1 or a level 2 on their ELA and their math winter diagnostics will be identified and be asked to attend this particular program. This program is going to be face-to-face, and this program is going to take place at the student's assigned middle school. So students, you may be at your elementary school in fifth grade. The caveat here is that you're going to have an opportunity to go onto your middle school campus, your assigned middle school campus this summer, and to participate in this accelerated program. And again, our students with disabilities and our ELL students will again have an opportunity to participate based on the most appropriate placement. And of course, working with their families. And our next program around middle school is going to be talking about our middle school course recovery. This particular program is held on our middle school campuses and is prioritizing our current 8th grade students. These are the students that may be behind in quality points, meaning that there are some academic deficiencies there. They're behind in quality points and they're needing to make up those points to move on to the next grade level. So we will prioritize with our 8th grade students. As appropriate and as space open up, we will then begin working with our 7th grade students and then down to our 6th grade students. This program in itself is face-to-face. These students will attend the campuses in which they are currently enrolled. They will not be able to select the middle school of their choice. You will have to attend the school in which you are currently enrolled, which is your SAT school, or the school in which you are currently enrolled, I should say. And then, of course, the same piece here goes and remain true for our students with disability and our ELL students. And I have to say, with all the programs that I am covering, students will be identified at the school sites. Parents will receive notification if their child was selected and encouraged to participate. And parents will have to let the school know if they have chosen for their child to participate in the program in which they have been identified for. So parents, you will have that choice. Another middle school program that we have had in the past, and we will continue with this summer, is known as Jumpstart to High School. And if you look here, this particular program is with our 7th grade students. And there are some criteria here. And a criteria that is listed here is for students who have failed 2 or more grades, okay, are in the 7th grade, and they are behind academically. Again, students and parents, your school will have to have identified you. You would have received the appropriate selection process. This program is going to be face-to-face. This program is going to be held on a high school campus. The high school in which this program is going to be held on, that one high school campus, has not yet to be determined. That decision will be made at a later date, and the students, as you are identified, will be made aware on which campus this particular program will be held on. And lastly, what I have to say about the Jump Start to High School, because of state statutes and other caveats that goes along with this, is that this particular program will, because all of our other programs are Monday through Thursday, but our Jump Start to High School program, it is a 5 days per week. So our students for Jump Start will attend 4 days a week face-to-face. On Fridays, the program will be virtual through distance learning. So it will be virtual on Fridays, but Monday through Thursday, this program will be face-to-face, just like all of our other programs. And our Jumpstart program extends in an additional week. And then when we go on and we talk about our high schools, senior high schools, you heard me say earlier, we have the awesome seniors, the graduating class of 2021. This particular program, our target students will first be for those students, our seniors, those that are in this cohort class of 2021 that may be behind in credits. So we're going to be bringing those students onto campus, giving them an opportunity to remediate and to do what we call course recovery, to try to get all the necessary credits and meet all of the graduation requirements in which they need to meet if they did not meet it during the spring. And so those students then they will still be part of the cohort of 2021, but if they successfully complete and meet all of the requirements over the summer while participating in this program, these students will have an opportunity to participate in our summer graduation. That will take place on July 22nd as a tentative date. Then as space opened up in this particular program, we would then be inviting our juniors class of 2022, those students that have been identified of having some credit deficiencies and need to do some course recoveries. Schools, guidance counselors will be reaching out to the students and their families as they are identified and encourage them to take advantage of this opportunity. And again, for this particular program, it's going to be very important that our students understand that this program, it does require face-to-face. Students will attend on the high school campus that they are currently enrolled, are currently attending. And again, goes for our students with disabilities and our ELL students. These students will again have the same opportunity to participate in this course recovery. And then as we talk about summer school per se, these programs we have every summer for our outstanding ELL and our ESY students. So for the first one, you can see bulleted here is our ELL and our migrant program. And these particular programs are face-to-face. They're held at various cluster sites. They're not on all of our campuses. They're at cluster sites. The programs are going to focus on language development and increased academic skills in the areas of literacy and mathematics. The extended school year program, our ESY, this particular program is for our ESE students. And the students that are participating in our extended year, of course, is driven by their IEPs, those students that have been identified by the IEP team. And of course, students are going to have an opportunity, to just continue to build and work on those skill deficiencies in both of these programs. So I'm just excited. I mean, know that it was a lot, in regards to the work that we're doing here this summer and trying to just mitigate some of the instructional losses. We know that this summer alone is not going to really and truly close the instructional gaps that our students will be facing. So this is phase one. I should say phase one, part two, because phase one, part one was the tutorials that our students were involved in this spring, before school, after school, Saturday tutorials, as our teachers, wonderful teachers and principals have put into place in working with the students. Now, this is the second part of phase one, the work that we're going to be doing over the summer. And then when we go back over to start talking about phase two, because we know that working with our students with these various programs this summer is not going to close that instructional gap to the full extent that we're planning for what the academic year is going to look like for years to come. So it's very important for me to say this because I don't want anyone to think that because we are sharing what we're doing over the summer with the various programs, that we're thinking that this is a one and done. We know that it's not. We know that this is going to be years to come, that we're going to need to look for strategies and look for things in which we need to put in place to continue to work with our students and work with our families in navigating in this space while we're trying to mitigate and enclose these instructional gaps. And it also is important for me to say that for all these programs, transportation will be provided. Transportation will be provided. Our students will receive. Thank you. Transportation will be provided. Once you are identified and you have said that you will be attending, parents will have an opportunity to log on to the district portal like you do during the academic year to find the bus route. So there we go with transportation. If we go to the next slide will talk to us about our school meals and the services that we will be providing for our during the summer. Students that are participating will have an opportunity to receive and participate in our free breakfast and lunch programs. And it's also important that I let the community know that all summer school sites will be open on Thursdays for grab and go meal distributions. And what that means is that 7 days worth of breakfast and lunch will be provided for those students that are not participating in our summer academies. This is, again, just an overview of what we're doing for the summer. And I'm just hoping that as the students are identified, that parents will entrust us to continue to work with them and their child. And I must thank the community for their involvement and their support during the last 16 months. And I should say the continuous support.
Thank you, Dr. Sheffield. And I do want to get to some of those questions because as you were making the presentation, we were getting some of them. And the first one that I want to pop up, it's from Nitsa. And she's asking, will there be any virtual options or alternatives available to students?
Right now, all of our summer programs that I've described this evening, right now, our programs are face-to-face. The only virtual opportunity is for the Jumpstart program for our 7th graders. And as I indicated, that particular program is 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, but our students will be face-to-face Monday through Thursday, and on Fridays, they will attend virtually. But all of the other programs are Monday through Thursday, face-to-face.
Very good. And I'm glad you mentioned that because people are used to, again, having that distance learning option. And so, Keith, can you kind of talk about somewhat of the importance of making sure that this face-to-face instruction is happening? I know that you guys have definitely been pushing the positive benefits that there are to that.
Sure, Andrew. And I think first we need to talk about the safety measure the school district has put in place to ensure that we have reduced the spread of COVID happening on our campuses. The research has clearly shown it's not happening on our school campuses. From the wearing of face masks, social distancing, those two big areas, as well as enhanced cleaning that's going on in our schools, we know that we're providing a safe environment for our students to be on the campus. Again, we talked about this unfinished learning. These learning losses are of great concern. And we know that if our students, in particular the ones who are struggling the most, are this much learning is unfinished, that on campus where they're actually interacting with a teacher live, face-to-face, that's the best opportunity. You get that immediate feedback, an immediate opportunity to talk to a teacher. And then the whole enriched program that Dr. Sheffield spoken to, and thanks to her and her team to really design a program that's really going to be interactive, fun for the students to be on a school campus. But again, and if you're a senior, this is important. You've done so much good work. It's so important to be on that school campus to make sure that we address all of the areas of a standard high school diploma that are not finished to make sure they are completed.
And you guys certainly have been seeing that there are students that need this help. Can you talk about the identification process? Because I'm sure there are parents who are here who are now asking, okay, well, how do I know if my child is eligible to attend one of these programs? Can you guys, again, kind of reinforce that of how the identification process is working?
Well, the identification process, I did go through the data matrix that schools will be utilizing. So for any student that has been selected to participate in any of the programs that I've described this afternoon, they will receive a letter from their principal on school letterhead. And the letters should start going out on tomorrow. And we do have all the specifics within the letters. So, and if parents have concerns that they did not receive a letter or what have you, I would ask that they reach out to, their child's administrator, a guidance counselor, or someone there on the campus. But they will be notified through letter on school's letterhead.
And Andrew, on to that, please. So, any parent who, wants to know how their child is doing, they should reach out to their teacher or school principal immediately. They know the child best. They're working with their child all year, even if they're not struggling, to ensure that they understand exactly where they're at. We strongly encourage that communication to be ongoing and regular. We added more progress reports that we pushed out to our families to inform them. So again, if you're in question at all, please reach out to the teacher or the principal.
And we do have another question from Vasily, and I'm going to pop it up here. If the student is not able to attend the summer program SRA, what would that result in? So are there any possible consequences or things like that?
That's a fantastic question from Vasilia. Sorry. So it was an emergency order that came out from our Commissioner of Education around certain areas. So if you're talking about SRA, Summer Reading Academy, if we're talking specifically for third grade, so what this emergency order said was that we do not need to use state test scores to determine a student being promoted to the fourth grade, from third grade to fourth grade. However, a big however, a student still needs to demonstrate at least the equivalency of a level 2 on the Florida Standards assessment that they would normally take. So if the student doesn't take that assessment and we don't have a score and we don't have student work that meets that level 2 by the end of the school year, that it's important for that student to go to the Summer Reading Academy so that they can get promoted to the next grade level. Let's take, for example, in 8th grade, middle school course recovery that Dr. Sheffield spoke to. If a student doesn't meet what we call student progression plan, it's a policy that we have in place with our school board, and it has certain standards of what a student has to be able to do at a certain grade level. If they don't meet all those particular credits, they may not be able to be promoted to 9th grade. And of course, most important for seniors, if a senior doesn't meet everything that's outlined in state statute for standard high school diploma, they won't get that diploma and they have to continue working towards that. And we can finish that up this particular summer. And any of the other programs we talked about, potentially it could put a student at not meeting, again, student progression plan to go on to the next grade level. This opportunity will help better prepare them for that next grade level. And again, reach out to the school and to the teacher and the principal to best inform you exactly where your child is at.
We also have a great question from Stephanie, somewhat along the lines, and it is pretty long here, but she says, my son will be leaving a charter middle school and starting 9th grade in PBC high school. He was enrolled in a choice program. He does not test well, but his grades are average to good. What do I expect? Does his affect him at all?
So welcome to our district operated schools. We're so excited to have you going into one of our high school choice programs. As you know, there's so many great opportunities for our students. So if your child has been doing well and met all the requirements by that charter school to be promoted to high school, you're in good shape, and really there's nothing to worry about. But again, if there's any questions, I strongly encourage either towards the end of this school year or this summer to reach out to the school, where we want to ensure that your class courses for your freshman year are all in place by day one. So the school is going to be reaching out to you to make sure that we schedule all those, to ensure that we have a schedule that best fits your particular needs. Again, if there's any other questions, you can certainly reach out to the school principal and the school to set up an appointment with the school counselor to sit down to review your academic records now to start beginning that process.
In regards to some of the testing, I know that the governor and again the Department of Education have said that testing scores will not again determine whether a child will go on to the next level or not. So some parents are choosing maybe not to have their kids tested this year. Can you talk about why maybe that might not be the best idea for students and their future?
Yeah, so that's a fantastic question, an important issue. So yes, the emergency order does say that we don't have to use some of these test results for promotional decisions, for depending on what grade level and what they wait for. But there are consequences that are pretty deep if a student does not take them. I'm going to give you a couple examples that are most concerning for us and important for a parent and a student to understand. If you're enrolled in Algebra 1 or geometry, last year, students who took Algebra 1, obviously we didn't take any state tests because of the pandemic. However, those students still have to earn a level 3 or better or concordant score on SAT or ACT or PSAT in order to receive a standard high school diploma. So those students that are currently in Algebra 1 or geometry, they can get that standard high school diploma requirement by taking that end of course exam and getting a level 3 or higher on that state test. They have met a very important milestone of that diploma. If they don't take that test, they're going to have to eventually either take it as a retake or get a concordance score on SAT, ACT, or PSAT. This also exists for our current 10th graders and last year's juniors on the FSA test. So juniors can take it as a retake. 10th graders take it for the first time. The results of that English language arts exam is a direct requirement for the standard high school diploma for English language arts at a level 3 or better. If it's not taken, it's going to have to be taken sometime again or get a concordance score at SAT, ACT in order to meet that requirement. That's a very important distinction. Also, the only place where we don't have to use that requirement are anybody who's planning to graduate in the spring of 2021. So if you're graduating this spring, there is more flexibility for us with those particular individuals, mostly seniors or anybody else that was looking to graduate this year. That also plays out if you're in middle school. We have many middle school students who take algebra and geometry. Again, that's a high school requirement that it's best to get it taken care of now so you don't have to worry about it later. I talked about the 3rd grade example going to 4th grade. You don't have to take the test. We don't have to use that test as an indicator to go to 4th grade, but we still have to demonstrate, the school has to show that the student met that mastery of that curriculum to go into 4th grade.
Dr. Sheffield, I wanted to bring this question to your attention. We actually have a family who is not sure whether they will be contacted by the school for additional resources. In this case, they said that they just moved to the USA, but is there resources that or a recommendation that you can give to families? Let's say if they don't get the call or the email from the school saying that their son or daughter is eligible for a program. What recommendations would you have?
The recommendation that I would have, welcome here to Palm Beach County. And if the family is already registered into one of our schools here within the school district of Palm Beach County, I strongly recommend that the family, again, reach out to their school, one of these administrators, principal, assistant principal, our guidance counselors, in regards to their concerns as it pertains to their child's academic needs. And if the child is not one that has been selected for one of the academies that we're going to be having here over the summer, then of course, we will be able to assist in regards to looking to see what kind of additional resources that we may be able to provide over the summer while they're at home. But I will encourage the family to reach out to the school to share what their concerns are academically and see how we move forward there.
I want to address.
You must start at the school.
Yeah, very good advice. So again, if you don't hear from the school, you should definitely follow up and ask them to see if there are those additional resources available. I'm also again seeing many questions in here about masks. I don't want people to think that we are ignoring them. So Mr. Oswald, if you can address that issue, people are concerned about mask wearing into the summer programs and the next school year.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. And currently we have a board policy in place that requires masks to be worn. We're still evaluating on a day-to-day basis if we make any changes to that policy going into next school year. It really is too early to tell what decisions will be made for the fall when we go back to school in August. Right now, our plans for this summer will be to continue wearing masks for this summer school program. And again, we're going to monitor closely any changes that come from CDC, local data, and also engage with our local health officials to make those decisions for August.
We also have a question now from another parent. It's from Ms. Cintron, and here it is. It's what about fourth grader going to fifth grade who doesn't take the FSA test? Will they be in jeopardy of being retained? I think we've kind of answered that, but go ahead.
No, that's a great question because we didn't really talk about fourth graders. If there are fourth graders who are potentially not meeting student progression requirements to go to fifth grade, school principals and teachers will be inviting them to a summer program as well if they're in that position. So there will be an opportunity for summer school. Again, if you're not sure, please reach out to your school principal and teacher to find out.
All great questions, and I just love this technology that we're able to see the questions in real time. And again, we have a significant amount of participants here on the call. So if again you guys have any questions, please submit them to us. We do have our Chief Academic Officer and our Deputy Superintendent of the School District of Palm Beach County here to answer your questions. School board members, community leaders, again, they're all concerned about the outlook for students. They want to make sure that they're well taken care of. Would either of you guys just like to speak to the plans that we have for the future, not just for this summer, but again, addressing what we are calling the COVID slide because of the different learning models that have been, again, basically thrown at students?
Well, I guess I will start, and I'm sure Mr. Oswald will add to it. But as I indicated earlier, when we talked about what we're doing over the summer, this was, part of our phase one in trying to address some of the instructional losses that our students have encountered. So it's a continuation of that. We have what is called our Student Academic Support Plan. And the Student Academic Support Plan, what it is that where we're layering out a 3-year plan that's not just over the summer. It's going to also take us during the next 3 years to talk about what is it and how we're going to address these losses during the instructional year. And, in addressing these losses during the during the academic year, during the academic year, it's not just about, the human capital and creating, additional positions and so forth. But what is it and how we're going to drill down, and what is that instruction is going to look like, and how are we going to help leverage, the support to our school centers, to our principals, administrators, and most importantly, how we're going to go into the classrooms, work with the teachers, and help leverage to where our teachers can effectively drill down and assist in addressing these academic challenges that our students are facing. And I should say, in mitigating these instructional losses. But I'm sure Mr. Oswald wants to add to that, because we are working on phase 2 of this support plan now. We just met today to talk about as a team in regards to, for the next 3 years. And it's all around mitigating these instructional losses of our students.
Mr. Oswald?
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, Dr. Sheffield, you're exactly right. We got some exciting plans in the works that are just going to provide additional opportunities for our students to participate. I think you can plan on seeing extended learning opportunities, after school, Saturdays. Hopefully next summer, after this summer, you're going to see expanded summer school as well. We're in this for the long haul until all this, I like to use unfinished learning because it was a difficult year for our students to learn and our teachers to educate our kids, that we're going to really think outside the box of opportunities during the school day, as well as outside the regular school day, for our students, not only to address unfinished learning, but really to focus in on accelerating our students and what they're capable of.
Thank you, Mr. Oswald. And so with that, we're going to kind of close this out. I mean, if you guys do have additional questions, feel free to reach out to us here on social media. We have a great team that is here to, again, support you and help you connect with your teachers or your principals about other specific questions that you may have. Again, it's a pleasure for us to host these with you and really get to the bottom of some of the questions that you guys do have about your child's future. Always remember, you can go to palmbeachschools.org for additional information. And of course, we're always updating our Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube pages with important information. So from all of us here, we appreciate you and we hope you have a great night.